Norman County West High School in Halstead, Minnesota will shut its doors this June.
That decision coming after a 3-hour board meeting this morning. As Valley News Team's Rose Itzkovitz tells us, the decision to do so was divided.
It was a room full of many different opinions and more confusion than many thought there should be after having more than a year to decide what to do with a high school in danger of closing.
Probably didn't handle all of the situations as well as we could. Being at odds, it would be very difficult to do that.
Last February, the Norman County West School District thought it had more than $400,000 deficit. But somehow, when the auditors did a report this past November, they found out they were actually more than $20,000 in surplus. But by then, 70 students had been pulled from the school, making the hypothetical deficit an actual issue.
One of the reasons that people left was because of the indecision from the board, and we heard that from many people saying that the indecision was enough to make them want to leave. So we had a major drop from last year to this year.
Now a decision needed to be made: either keep the high school open but move it in with the elementary school, or get rid of the high school and move all the students to Ada Borup, about 18 miles away. The board voted on a tuition agreement that will ultimately send the NCW high school students to Ada next year. Jeremy Melting's son is in 6th grade at NCW Elementary. He would have entered the high school next year. He says since the previous meeting in December, not enough information was given out to save the school.
But what we asked for at that community meeting was, what would it take to stay open? What would it take to be an as-is or take to be a single campus? And I was expecting to hear, you need this many number of students to make that happen, otherwise we'll be short X number of dollars. And then you as a community have to figure out how to raise that money, or we have to figure out how to cut that out of the operating budget.
Meanwhile, many parents have contacted us about this issue, blaming the superintendent, Dr. Sean Yates. They say he has a conflict of interest since he runs both NCW and Ada Borup schools. But Superintendent Yates maintains he just wants what's best for both schools. Is this kind of the direction you wanted to go in at this point?
You know, again, I came into today, I really had no idea on what the board was going to decide. I work at the will of the board, and you know, I provide them information, and whatever decision it is that they made, I was prepared to move forward and do my best to ensure, again, what's best for our kids.
And even though board member Michael Holty says this was not what he wanted as a parent, he says Yates was put in a tough spot, working for both schools. In Halstead, Minnesota, Rose Itzkovitz, Valley News Live.
And we're told 12 teachers and other paraprofessionals will receive severance pay when the school closes. They'll be granted an interview to work for Ada Borup as well. The taxes will be raised for next year in order to pay for that.
Let the rivalry continue.
Yeah, we get to heat it up again already. One round done. We will get the final round of non-conference action between NDSU and UND on the basketball floor. We'll talk about it next in sports.